Hey everybody, this is Carlos again with the Nerd Today podcast coming at you. Wow, 2 videos in 2 days, that's awesome. And as this posting, happy WandaVision finale day. Hope you're not disappointed. Don't spoil it down below. Don't tweet at me spoilers. I have kids. I get to watch this really late. And funny enough with my friends, they know what time I text them when I finish the episode, which is always 11 p.m. on a Friday. I got kids. It's rough out here, man. That being said, this episode is actually not about WandaVision. This episode is about the state of play from February 25th, which was last week. So, I'm just going to kind of loosely go through the things that stuck out for me of Sony's state of play from the 25th of February. It was a very good state of play in my mind. Going through some little things, and then we're going to end with, obviously, the big story, I would say. And then, as well as some little stories that don't necessarily pertain to Sony, but pertain to the last story. You'll see what I mean. Alright, so kicking off, one of the first things we saw that stood out to me in the state of play was Returnal. It's Housemarque's next game. Looks interesting, and pardon me if I'm not looking at you, beautiful people out there. I'm actually have my show notes right here, Nerd Day Podcast, special secret show notes, which is just Google Docs. It's important, it's easy and free. So Returnal looks cool. It's interesting to see where Housemarque is coming. They previously, like a few years ago, before I guess when they started development on Returnal, they said like arcade games are dead, which they were known for a very long time. This is like a third person kind of, I don't want to say Soulsborne, maybe roguelike game where, death is kind of like a persistent thing that happens to you. Gameplay looks interesting, has some survival horror and elements, but that's coming out for PS5 April 30th. It's looking really interesting. It'd be, I don't know if I would pick it up. I don't know. Unfortunately, pardon me, for me, I don't have a PS5. I'm not lucky enough to have the cheddar for that. But it still looks interesting. So I'd be interested in seeing that. And then the next one I'm going to speak of is Sifu. This looks awesome. This is a developed by Slow Clap. Not much details were given, about Sifu. What I can gather is a martial arts game. Trailer opens up with a hallway fight. So you know what that means, man. You're a fan of the Netflix Marvel shows? It's a good fight. You're in for a good treat when you see a hallway fight. Combat looks awesome, fluid. Art style is very unique, which is nice. Not everything needs to be like super high texture, awesome. But like these new consoles can push other types of art styles that distinguish games. This is coming out for PS4 and PS5 in 2021. At least that's what it said. It could be just PS4. PS5, but I thought it said PS4 and PS5 at the end of the trailer. To me, this is a deep dive, and I don't think anyone's gonna get it. This game clicked in something for me. There was a PS1 game. I believe it was a PS1 game. It was a Jet Li game. I have no remembrance of the specific. Was it? It had to be PS1. That or PS2, but I'm pretty sure it's PS1. And it was, you would move with the analog stick, right, with the left analog stick, and on the right, on the DualShock 1, you would fight. So if you had like someone in this area, you would hit that way, and it was just like, you know what I mean, like how Jet Li fights, it was like that. Was it top down? It was like kind of skewed top down. I had to look it up. It was awesome. I don't remember the name of that game. I'm not gonna go on a tangent. This video is gonna be not super long. I don't plan on it, but still, I don't want it to be super long for no reason. Maybe I'll explore it later time. Next that looked interesting was Kinah, Bridge of Spirits. Wow, it just looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Looks awesome to see some of the gameplay there. This is coming out August 24th of this year. Obviously pending, COVID pending, I guess. It looks really cool. It looks beautiful. I rewatched it outside of the state of play, the 4K trailer that was posted by PlayStation and IGN, I believe. I may have watched it on there. It looks really gorgeous. As I mentioned 18 times. I'm really interested in this. And then kind of one of the last things before we kind of segue into end the state of play video that I want to talk about / Square Enix news Deathloop trailer looks awesome. The song was so catchy. It's actually out now on streaming services, and I believe you could purchase it as well. Apple Music, Spotify. By the way, if you're on Spotify, why don't you give me a little subscribe right there? If you're on Apple, why don't you go to Apple Podcasts? Give me a little subscribe. Cheap plug, cheap pop. Thanks, McFoley. They looked awesome, yeah. And then there was another trailer that actually, as of recording, recently just popped on PlayStation's YouTube. That it was a little fun, but it kind of gave you a little more idea, a little more concrete. Like, hey, this is Deathloop. This is the world. This is what it's about. This is the gameplay loop. You know, it's the it was like a murder puzzler. I believe that's what the game director called it. Seems really cool. And then now, kind of transition to the end of the State of Play video, which was a huge highlight for me, and going into some Square Enix news here. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming out on PS5. Now, Intergrade is it's like an updated, like what was it, PS5 glow up for Resident Evil 7 Remake, which was one of my top games. I want to say it was number one, but Last of Us really hit me hard in the feels. So Last of Us Part 2 was like my number one game of 2020. But this was like 1B for me, because I love Final Fantasy VII, and then what Square and Nomura and all were able to do with Remake was special. And I put Remake in there, because if you know, you know. So, Intergrade's coming out. They showed off a little bit, you know, of it. Best video, if you want to watch, is my boy Kevin from PlayStation Source. I should link his video down below. He gets super emotional. This State of Play happened to be on his birthday, and because of Final Fantasy VII Remake, he is like super into Final Fantasy now. I think at this moment he shared a PlayStation 5 sharing. I think he's playing 15 Royal Edition. Awesome. So cool. So happy for him. But he gets emotional, and it's him, Mario Rivera, shout out to you two, and some other people that I don't have the luxury of knowing yet, but would like to meet you guys in the future, or, you know, talk to you guys. I'll link his video, because it's actually really awesome. And so he gets super emotional, and as you should. It's a great game. But there's graphical upgrades, you know, lighting, textures, fog. It's running at 60 frames per second. There's a 4K resolution mode that favors more graphics than, you know, I'd rather run it at 1080p at 60 frames per second, because that looks amazing. Load times are way quicker, which, coming from a base PS4, much needed. There's a photo mode. It's a free upgrade if you own the PS4 version, as long as you've purchased the game. Now, I say that caveat as long as you purchase the game, because March's PlayStation Plus game, one of them, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, that version, if you do not own it, like me, I had a friend, that's how I was able to play it last year. They owned it, but I don't own it. I just redeemed my copy of the PlayStation Plus game. Awesome, which is fine. But that version cannot be upgraded. You have to physically have given them $60. I believe it might be on sale right now. Check. I think there's a Final Fantasy sale as of this recording. Check. Might be cheaper. But you, as long as you purchase it, physically gave PlayStation money, owned the digital license for it, or physical, you can transfer your physical copy as well, you get the upgrade at that point. The other caveat for that is, with Intergrade, you get a special episode that is based around Yuffie. Now, it looks like it takes place during the time where Cloud is away from the party, but yes, Yuffie is introduced into the Final Fantasy VII Remake universe. Let's say that. And she's playing, to me at least, I haven't seen this character. She seems with a new character named Sonnen. And I'm not sure what the basis of the story is, but I'm sure we'll get some more backstory to where, like, what's going on with Wu-Tai. Wu-Tai is like a huge presence in Final Fantasy VII Remake, to me, earlier in the game than I remember in the original game. So, she's there. It's specifically only for PS5. So, if you don't have a PS5, and you didn't buy Final Fantasy VII, you can't play it. Bummer, specifically for me. There's a thing called YouTube, but I would love to get my hands on it. That would have been awesome to get my physical hands on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I get a PS5 randomly tomorrow, shout out if anyone who's buying me one. Hell yeah, man! I want to play this. I'll buy it and play it. I'll buy like the digital version, not just the PlayStation Plus version. I'll get it. You know what I mean? But so this is all. I want to say this is all coming out June 10th, which is a great story. And then on Square Enix's side, after the State of Play, they released 2 trailers on Twitter, which looks gross. But the rumors of patents that were, obviously, like, they were leaked, or people saw them on patent listings, became true. So we have Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, which is a I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, a Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale. Developed by Square. It's going to be on iOS and Android. If it's free, I might try it, but I don't know how much. I don't mind reading a wiki of what happens in that story. It'd be interesting. If it's free, I'll try it. But if it's not, it's always wiki or YouTube. I did that with the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, so I don't mind doing it for First Soldier. And then the final news, which was, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. That is real as well. And Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, allergies are messing with my eyes, is a retelling of the complete Final Fantasy VII story, not remake of, like, what was it? Like Crisis Core, First Crisis, I believe, like the mobile game for Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus, Advent Children, which, it's a movie, but I guess you get to play it now, in this sort of, like, I want to say remake style of what we thought Final Fantasy VII Remake would look like in our brains originally, right? Updated sprites, kind of like that. Beautiful art. I don't know if there's going to be any, like, voiceover work, but, there's words you can read, and, oh my god, I can't believe you said words you can read. Wow, I'm an idiot. I'm also tired. But, yeah, that was also revealed, and it seemed very like a better looking Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. So it'd be interesting. That'd be cool. That's also coming out for iOS and Android. I wouldn't be surprised if that also comes out for Switch. That's a great way to get people into Final Fantasy VII. Square's been doing a lot of stuff with, like, the Mana series over there, and Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, and 11 coming out for Switch. So it'd be cool to show some Final Fantasy love over there as well. Nothing tentatively stated, but I wouldn't be shocked. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Editions over there. Why not put this one over there too? But there's a lot of things that's interesting about that. I kind of want to play because I've never played Crisis Core or the mobile game that takes place before Crisis Core. I've never played Dirge of Cerberus, which is very shocking. I know it's not the greatest game, but I've never played it. I own Advent Children on multiple devices and digitally different times over. Shout out to Movies Anywhere, and I can watch it anywhere. Literally, it's in the title. And I watched that movie a bunch of times. But it'd be interesting. Dirge of Cerberus has like a, I want to say his name is Gach. He's a Japanese pop singer, super popular at the time. His likeness is in the game. He plays a major role in the game, actually. So do they remake him look so you avoid licensing issues and things like that? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see where this nets out, if it's episodic, what the cost will be like for that. But it's a lot. There's a lot to look forward to if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan. If you're a PlayStation fan, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We also got news around this time. I believe it was on the 24th. There's a PlayStation VR 2. That's not what it's going to be called, but the next generation of PlayStation VR is coming out. Hey man, one cord, better haptic feedback controllers, things like that. Be interested to see where that nets out as well. But that's kind of it for today. I'm going to end it right now. Hope you guys have a good Friday. Love you guys. Oh, and don't forget, if you're liking the Nerd Today podcast, getting close to 50 subscribers, why don't you give us a like, share, and subscribe there. Do the channel a big help. Catch you guys later.